You are now politicking with Poe on PoPolitickin.com.
I don't know how y'all see it, but when it comes to the children, Wu-Tang is for the children. We teach the children. You know what I mean?
Yo, where we from, these boys keep 2 straps, ain't talking backpacks. Throw us in the project to suffer, then call us slap rats. Equip me with a gun and use my people as the target. Plant some drugs inside my hood and watch this crack just kill a garden man. Don't cry for me, I studied life and then I graduated. I wear my heart on my sleeve like it's a fashion statement. Remember granny how they laughed at all my holy pants. Now when I spit a verse, I make them do the holy dance. Who would have thought? Young Steve from up the block, Montgomery, Alabama, where they hustle moving rocks. Take a look inside my thoughts, marvel at these words. Flip this pen and pad, a hope dealer off the curb, man. Embrace your struggles, homie. Don't let them get you down, cause when it rains, it pours. A flower's only way to grow. Embrace your struggles, homie. Don't let them hold you down. Just look at me, embrace the rain and let it shower on. Yeah, Stephen Darnell, Alabama representative. Hey, yo, shouts out to the homie Poe, man, at PoPolitickin. Hey, yo, he been rocking with me for a minute, man. Much love, God bless, much success to you, homie. Appreciate it. One.
PoPolitickin.com.
This is Jahna Sebastian, singer, songwriter, producer, engineer, actress, and I'm here at Multivizion Music Studio, politicking with PoPolitickin.
It's a brand new day, I'm a trendsetter. You told me that without you I cannot do better. When it's not your way, you resort to name calling. Love payday is the reason you're called. You be using other people to deny me. Never had the courage not to hide behind the line. Bravery is privilege, you're strong-minded. You're afraid to fall from cloud nine dream. When it's built on lies, can it be so solid? Wanted me to hide just to keep you going. I'm a soldier of love, hate can cast a shadow. Sometimes I seem tough, dark, stubborn and shadow. When it's built on lies, can it be so solid? Wanted me to hide just to keep you going. I'm a soldier of light, hate can cast a shadow. Sometimes I seem tough, dark, stubborn and shadow. One day you will see and face the truth in the final hour. I wanted to love and I needed to feel that's my greatest power. You gave up the power yourself in exchange for money, left it's a game of chess. I know you can miss someone else that you left behind, a pawn, not a king now at best. I could not get on, just like that so cheaply. Like you get on base, on somebody's weakness. I got pride, and I got soul, I got real thing, real thing. You be using other people to deny me. Never had the courage not to hide behind a lie. Bravery is privilege, you're strong-minded. You're afraid to fall from cloud nine dream. When it's built on lies, can it be so solid? Wanted me to hide just to keep you going. I'm a soldier of love, hate can cast a shadow. Sometimes I seem tough, dark, stubborn and shadows. When it's built on lies, can it be so solid? Wanted me to hide just to keep you going. I'm a soldier of love, hate can cast a shadow. Sometimes I seem tough, dark, stubborn and shadow. One day you will see and face the truth in the final hour. I wanted to love and I needed to feel that's my greatest power. You gave up the power yourself in exchange for money, left it's a game of chess. I know you can miss someone else that you left behind, a pawn, not a king now at best.
Welcome back to PoPolitickin.com, your home for self-help meets hip-hop. Make sure you download our app on iTunes, like, comment, subscribe, and share this interview. I'm now politicking with the lovely, multi-talented Jahna Sebastian. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on the show again.
Yeah, you're family
always
now.
a pleasure
You're
to
official
speak
now.
to you.
Huh?
It's always a pleasure to speak to you.
Yeah, I said you official now. We family now. We related. We cousins.
That's it. We're cousins. We're like distant relatives from across the pond.
Yeah. So I saw you had a new album coming out called The Alchemist.
Yes, that's right. And it's quite interesting. I have my new album. It's called The Alchemist. I just came from a place called The Alchemy in Croydon, in my area. So, and they were actually discussing an opportunity to do an alchemist themed party there at The Alchemy. So it's quite interesting. But yes, I did my album, and it was written, recorded, produced, arranged, mixed, performed, all done by myself. So it's a one-woman project. Just from start to finish, here in my studio in Croydon, in London, at Multivizion Music, just all programmed. It's a conceptual album as well, so it's kind of like a foundation to the stories to come. So all the other albums are going to be building on that. They're going to tell a continuous story of, personal discovery, and also talking about things that are happening in the world, and mainly also how to deal with these things and how to deal with change and everything. But The Alchemist is kind of the introduction to this world of Jahna Sebastian that I'm trying to bring people into. And that's why actually I just decided to do it all by myself. It's not because of any type of any other reasons, like, I've always collaborate with people on other projects, but with, when it came to my first album, number one thing, it was that I had certain ideas and I wanted to get them across as quick as possible, and I just stayed in the studio non-stop 24/7 here. I was just working and working. And another thing, it was also a way of challenging myself if I could do it. It's quite antisocial as well, because again, it was not like a team of people sitting in the studio. It was just me by myself, and I had to literally just stay here. But at the same time, the challenge was also if I could literally work on something like a big project, it's 15 tracks, and just keep track of all of the details, from mixing to, whole songs. Like literally you have to remember every single delay, every single reverb, every single effect on every note, and every instrument that I played there, and then the whole album. So yeah, it was quite interesting. I was working on it last summer, and then as soon as I finished it, the day that I finished it, I released it. So that's the life of an independent artist, is once you've finished, you're done. I released it on 23rd of September 2017, like it was finished, and then I just put it up on the internet straight away.
And then I guess you read the book? Is that why you named it after the book?
No, I didn't actually. I know what you mean. I did read the book when I was 15. However, my album is not based on the book at all. Although I do like Paulo Coelho, and actually when I was 15, I did get to meet him back in Russia when he was coming for book signing, actually. And he signed another book of his that was called The Warrior of Light, and he actually personally signed it for me. But this was years ago when I was 15 and I was at school, and but I know what you mean. However, The Alchemist is not based on Paulo Coelho's book. It's based on self-discovery for myself, and it also means, what it means to me is, actually I was going through this kind of journey myself, where I was where I had to kind of realize that although I have loads of skills and I have experience with different situations in life, and I have, a story like all of us have. However, it was the time of, actually putting forward the idea that I'm also the alchemist of sound. So meaning that from day one, that was my journey in music, is that I was just interested in the nature of sound, whether it's singing, whether it's playing instruments, whether it's engineering, producing, and stuff like that. So for a long time, I was called the alchemist of sound, meaning that a person that can just manipulate the sound and understand the psychological aspects of it, and also the technical sides of it, and at the same time know how it influences people and how it influences our stories as well. So that was one thing, and another thing was also just the way that I deal with life in general. Is always putting elements together, sometimes very intuitive based, always actually, and sometimes coming out of situations when people ask me, how did you get out of it, when 99.9% never, come out of it, stronger than ever. And my way of dealing with those things was always just kind of like quickly putting the elements that you think that you can't match, putting them together, and then boom, 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 and next thing you come out with an extraordinary, victory. And that's just the way of living, and that's why it was called The Alchemist, and then the other albums are going to continue with that. So it was basically discovering myself as the alchemist, as this person that is starting to realize who I truly am, and what my calling is. So obviously, I always knew that, I wanted to do music when I was a child and things like that, but this is more than that. This is more spiritual, and this is more than just thinking of doing music for the sake of, just success in a traditional way of thinking. Just, it's more about what is my place in this world, and because my music in this album is highly connected to my personal journey as well. My journey has been that kind of story of self-discovery as well, where I had to pay attention to sometimes small details to kind of see the bigger picture. So it's kind of the way of seeing the world and the vision, and I'm trying to present it to the people, in an understandable way, where again, even the way that the music is, some of the tracks on it are, tracks that you can play in the club and you can dance to, but at the same time they contain messages in them. So it's elements that you might think, oh, it's hard to put them together, but at the same time, that's how I work, and it's quite experimental as well. So yes. So that's what The Alchemist is about. And actually, I'm wearing the pendant that is called the Alchemist pendant, and it's designed by Biblos Glasgow, the designer, who actually created it based on the portrait that was drawn by artist Aina Timurgaliev, which was used as the cover for the album. In fact, I can show you the portrait.
Okay. Yeah.
Shall I show you the picture? Because it's in my studio. So that's the portrait of, and that is basically the cover for the Alchemist album.
Tight.
And as you can see, there's 4 elements. Major elements, and then obviously it's me wearing, headphones, listening to the beat of the universe, and it means I'm connecting all of those elements, and at the same time finding myself and knowing the way while listening to the beat of the universe. So it represents creativity, in all of us. I believe all people can be creative in one way or the other, and it represents that. And also, of course, everything is connected. So my cover is fully connected to the album. So of course, if I'm saying it's the power of one, that I was the one person working on the album, and of course that's just the vision of the humans. And also another thing was also I was trying to show my main objective is also trying to show that humans are very powerful. Our mind is very powerful. There's a lot of talks in terms of bringing artificial intellect.
That's actually my thing right now. So you can go deeper on that right now if you want to. On the what do you mean by? Are you talking about law of attraction? Like, what are you talking about?
Well, law of attraction. There is obviously truth to that, and of course through the Alchemist, I'm trying to show the correct way of looking at things from my perspective, in terms of how we can, get the best, done in our lives, and at the same time understand how things are attracted in our lives and how to get the right people in our lives and understand the journey. And also the main thing is I'm quite concerned right now that there is the rise of this focus on building super powerful artificial intellect. But the reality is that we as humans have super powerful mind. We just have to turn it on. We just have to understand our own personal talents and advantages. And humans are very powerful. This brain here is the most powerful computer that you can have. There's been, there's knowledge out there that it's about tapping into that. So that's why obviously I'm challenging myself, of course, because you can't tell people what to do if you're not challenging yourself and you're not doing it as well, and at the same time, that's the key. I'm trying through my songs to tell people how to tap into that intuitive way of living where you could upgrade your own mind. Well, all of us possess some kind of, power of the mind. However, it is about knowing how to tap into it, how to open yourself to it, and how to do it the correct way. Yeah. Meaning that you can get what you want, but at the same time, you're not going to do it in an immoral way, or you're not going to. So there's a lot of philosophy, about it, what is moral and what is immoral and things like that. But of course, I believe times are changing right now, and it is the time for humans to tap into that and to really develop that. There's no point in bringing forward super powerful supercomputer.
So how do you do it?
Pardon?
How do you tap into your, I guess, higher power, your source? What do you do?
So my main thing is pretty simple. Is basically dealing with every situation from a perspective that if I come out of it, no matter how challenging and difficult it is, I will become stronger. So it's very intuitive. It's listening to my intuition and always challenging myself again. And if I've done something, if I have worked on something big, always go to the next level. Always work on something bigger for me. So that's the main thing. I know there's a lot of currently there's a lot of different schools of new thought, new way of thinking in terms of how to tap into that. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think the main thing is to basically deal with your everyday life in that sense that you are developing yourself. It's more powerful than, in my eyes. I don't meditate, for example. I don't need to. Like it's very simple. Like sometimes you can do something so simple, as long as you know how to breathe and as long as you know how to, for example, know that no matter how difficult the situation is, when you're down, you can tell yourself the only way is up. So that's one of the ways of upgrading yourself, because rather than meditating and then submitting, for example, at the same time to the culture of depression, and being constantly on pills and with therapists and never becoming the full person that you can be, and being attached to all kind of courses and things like that. I believe it's more about personal journey, and also it is about learning about the world around you and people around you, and being compassionate to them, listening to their stories as well, understanding what it's like to be in another person's shoes. And that is also the way of us developing ourselves through understanding other humans around us, other cultures and history. And sometimes you could even imagine yourself in the shoes of the person that is doing something that's not necessarily what you would do, but that is also part of developing yourself, more so than sitting for 2 hours, and doing some exercises and things like that, like meditation or yoga. And by the way, also I would say that in the West, actually, a lot of the self-development courses that are presented, that they come from the East, have been hijacked. So if you want to do yoga, for example, there is yoga that can really help you, of course, but usually it's a teacher that is hidden far away and that is going to pick you and really help you develop, and probably is not going to charge you anything, and a person would not even need to share that on social media or anywhere else, because the knowledge and the development that you can get from that is going to be so powerful and so important that you would just know that, if you want to share it, you would want to share it with people when they're ready and with whoever is ready, rather than boasting about it. So that's the key. Is like, for me personally, it's quite simple. The main thing is that humans are created in the image of God, and there's a reason why there's a saying of that, is that we are all creatives in that sense, and it is an individual journey. So for me, it's that simple, it's like, it's that simple and complicated at the same time, so yes. And in many situations, I found that once I've come out of the situation in life that seemed like it was impossible, like it was destructive, once I came out of it, I knew that was like an upgrade to the next level. Next thing you know, that was easy. Now you can do something else, and it's also facing my own fears. So sometimes it's about understanding that in life we're presented with situations where, it's the main thing is about being fearless. Like in my song Fearless, is that once you face your own fears, then you can get to understand that you are much stronger than you think you are.
Oh yeah.
And somehow it always comes from within.
So who's that? What's the chain about? The chain you have on, the necklace?
Yeah, so the chain is designed by designer Biblis Glasgow, and it is also based on the portrait.
Okay.
The portrait is also, used as a cover of my album, and that's actually also, you see, how I work is also part of my point of view that I'm trying to get across. So basically, I took a picture in those headphones. In fact, I got the headphones, then I took the picture, then there was this artwork that became the cover of my album. Now there is this chain.
So what's next?
It is all about a story. It's all about telling a story. So again, it's like the journey of the alchemist. So one becomes the next thing, and then the next thing, and then it's like reading a book. Like, there's many chapters, and nothing just is done for the sake of simple things like money or fame or whatever. Whatever I do is it has to have a meaning, and it has to have something that I feel that needs to be shared with the world, because music and art is is a way to co-create with the audience. So I believe that the audience is co-creating with us, the artists, and it's this exchange where through music we can raise our vibrations, and this is what the world right now needs. That's why obviously we are at this crossroads, very important and very serious crossroads, where the world can go two ways: either go into the times of prosperity, where finally we will be able to, and it all gets down to understanding human nature and understanding how to tap into the best in us and how people can live for each other, rather than lead based on greed and jealousy and things like that. Those are the main things that make people, go into wars and do stupid things, historically, especially if people are in power. And then on another hand, so if we eradicate that, that's the main thing. It's not even the money. It's not even getting all the wealth in the world, that rich people have, and then dividing it between poor people, for example. It's more about raising the awareness and raising the consciousness of each and every person who wants to do it, who is ready to accept it. And then this way, when every single person is ready to change within themselves, it's about changing their view, and opening their eyes on the truth. So we're at the crossroads, because the other way is total destruction, unfortunately. And we as humans have this responsibility right now. And through culture, I believe that culture right now is super important in helping people and humans raise that vibration up.
So what are your current projects you're working on? What's next for you?
So right now I'm working on new music, of course, because working on my debut album was like the beginning of this long-term journey. So it's like a very important point in my life. It was literally like having a baby in that sense, because of course I have my child, and it's like having a musical baby, because it was the beginning of the new era for me, and the transformation through music and through the self-discovery that is pretty much the starting point of a very, very years and years and years to come. So I'm working on new music, and I have so much, that's right now in the works. And I'm creating whole concepts, of course, and it's the same way with the albums. I'm working on them all by myself, because now, as I said, through challenging, it feels like since I've done that album, I can now do these ones. It's like it seems not as difficult as before. And another thing is, obviously, I'm working with different artists who are part of the Multivizion music, and they are based all around the world. And Multivizion Music is my studio, so it's like a worldwide movement, and it's about promoting the creatives, no matter what field they're coming from, whether they're designers, musicians, and artists. So I'm working on this new upcoming exhibition with artist Einar Timurgaliev, and this is also quite exciting. And he's from Russia. Then there's some American artists that I'm working with. There's some, artists from Eastern Europe, and of course from the UK. So I'm creating this movement, and also the main thing for me, I feel like I want to really show, I can see talent when it's there. It's kind of like that light that's inside that person. But I feel that right now, especially in music, again, these so-called talent shows have hijacked the idea of searching for the talent. So the talent shows become all about the money and television. And I'm working right now with this movement in highlighting the talented people, and the best that they can bring through Alchemist TV, as well as the platform that I've launched, and showing not the fights, not the negatives of the person, but actually showing their true development and journey as an artist and the best that you can bring out of them in a fun and cool way as well, getting them out in the best light. So that is also the platform, like, you know, showcasing the real talent and in a very human way, everyday life, but that's not based on trying to drag them into or degrade them or anything like that. No, it's actually uplifting and creating the best out of them. For example, like Arno Timurguliyev, when he was here, like I said on the spot, I said, oh, like, since we're filming this documentary, can you also like draw something to the music right here in the studio while you're visiting? You know what I'm saying? Just come up with anything, you know? And he came up with a really cool art piece just on the spot, you know, and then people can see actually that's his way, you know, of creating. People were logging in to IG Live, Instagram Live, and it's a different experience. So you can actually experience that person. You can see through their eyes, you know, what they're creating, and at the same time you can get in touch with their life, you know, and how they experience the world around them. So this is about that.
Okay. And what advice would you give to new artists?
Pardon?
What advice would you give to new artists?
So I would say for the new artists, right now in 2018, I would say that culture right now, whether it's music, art, whether it's new media, whatever creative aspect that you're trying to be a part of, right now, through culture, through the power of words and sound and the art, we can help the whole humanity change and step into the new and much better historical journey. And this is our responsibility to learn what everybody's journey is and how we can do it in a connected way. So I think that right now it's not about doing it for the money. It's not about doing it for the fame. It is about doing it in a way where you could tap into your best talent that you can have and trying to think about what do you have to say to the world. And then, of course, because the way that I see it, that we are about to enter this time of abundance. So everybody is going to have what they can have, because the system will change. If we change culture, we can change this system. We can actually eradicate poverty. Right now, I truly believe in that. And through culture, we can change people's thinking and people's minds and open their hearts and open their minds. So the old ways of just chasing it for the sake of material things, it's yesterday's thing. Right now, it is actually about discovering who you really are and going for it. Like, you have nothing to lose, because literally we've got like just this very short time frame that if we either see tomorrow as the best thing we've ever seen in very, very long time as humans, or something that could just be the end. So that's my advice, is find your true calling, your true passion, and dig very deep into it and follow your intuition. Don't do the formula thing anymore. It's not about the formula, because the further we go with this, also right now with the artificial intellect, when they're trying to promote the idea that you can, that the computers and AI is going to be smarter than the humans, this is the time to really show what your mind can do, how you can do things intuitively that no computer can ever do, that you can tap into that. And
I guess the way I look at it too, for the average person, the computer probably is smarter, because the average person don't use their brain to their max.
Well, that's where the artists come from, is that we can actually choose what kind of songs and what kind of music and what kind of lyrics we can promote to the average people. That's why, for example, I try to make my music more, understandable to the average person rather than for it to be niche, in that sense that, you know, they might just feel like, oh, they're just dancing, but at the same time it contains the message, because again, it's the artist that can help the average person look deeper into things, you know, get them into something more than just you know, just the standard way of thinking, and I respect the everyday person. I respect them because this is the listener, this is the audience, and it is our job and our responsibility to actually help them to come out of it, you know, so that when they come home from work, you know, I feel that, especially in the West, the reason why a lot of people don't really use their brain to the maximum is because they're only given one choice. They're not really given 2 or 3 types of choices. They're only given one type of entertainment, one type of news, one type of way of thinking, and they're kind of stuck in there. They're not given any kind of alternative, and for them to actually find something else, they have to really find the time to search for it. But then again, Google doesn't show the results a lot of the times. I've tried to search that on English-speaking Google, and you know what? The search is very different to Google in other languages.
So I search what?
The map. Pardon?
We search what?
Like if you want to search for anything, history of the world, literature, or spirituality, anything. Yeah, it's very different. You type in pretty much same kind of, similar kind of words, but just in different languages. You have different types of Google. Even you have different types of Google Maps. And that's why the average person is not even able to see that. Because when they look on Google Map in America, you know, American Google, and maybe they're looking into Italian Google or Japanese or Indian Google, they see different map of the world. They see different things. And they even with search, the way that the language is used as well. That's why language is so powerful. So that currently a lot of the meanings of the words have changed their context. So they used to have a different context, say 20, 30 years ago, and now through political correctness, they've changed their context. And again, when you search that as well, the Google results are different. So it's very hard for people to really find information. And if we think about it, they live their everyday lives, and they go to work, and then they pick up their kids from school and things like that. They literally have 5 minutes to look into something, and they're not really presented with anything, so they have no time to find out anything unless it's really presented to them straight into their face. And unfortunately, what they see every day through mass media is, you know, just the one way of thinking. There's nothing else, and one way of entertainment and things like that. So, and they're told that this is the diversity when actually it's the opposite. So there's been a lot of like change of context, you know, making it the opposite, where love becomes hate and hate becomes love, you know. And when they say it's diversity, when really it's just one way of thinking and no diversity of thought, and no debates, no true discussions anymore. So for people, they're quite limited in choice, because I've noticed the difference, because obviously, you know, I was born and raised in Russia, then I lived here for 12 years, you know, and then I've been to America. So I've been able to kind of, even from my own personal perspective, to compare the 3 different, you know, worlds, if you will, you know, because there's Russia and America and UK kind of in the middle, in between. Those are all kind of different ways of living and thinking, and media and whatnot. So yeah, and I found the difference, and actually that was a good experience for me, because I learned how to navigate and how to set up a mental filter and find the truth. Because you hear like completely opposing ideas and propaganda and messages and things like that, and you think like, let me pick between the 3, you know, and find what's the real one. And then you really tune into that. So
what would you like? What would you like to say to your fans?
To my fans, I would say that look out for the new projects to come, of course, and stay connected. There's going to be loads of shows coming up. I'm looking forward to worldwide shows going all around the world to different places. And my main thing is to reach out everybody who's ready to hear the message. And so for me, it can be a small village or it can be a big city. It doesn't matter, as long as people want to hear what they what I would like to say through my music. I would be happy to be there. And there's going to be a lot of IG Live, Instagram Live events from the studio as well, and also from different parts of the world. So you'll be able to tune in. So even if you're in another city, you can always stay connected. Also look out for some upcoming music videos, because I've just released 3 music videos from my album The Alchemist. So they are Fearless, Queen of Arts, and the other one is I Wish. They're all directed by Alex Riley, and I'm wearing Biblos Glasgow in all of them as well, the designer. And those are also, through the visuals, you can see the different sides in a visual way of the album and what I'm trying to say. And there's going to be some more visuals as well. And I would say that for my listeners, that the main thing is that this is more than music. This is going on a journey together and discovering how we can make this world a better place and how we can create social change for everybody. It doesn't matter where people are, whether they're in the East and the West, which country they are. Everything is connected. This world, the climate, everything is connected. There is a reason for everything. So look out for the signs and look out for the new pictures and visuals. I'm telling the story and telling the way that I see it, of how we can really raise ourselves, to the higher level and have a deeper understanding of the world, and actually come finally to a historical time when everybody can live together. No more fighting, no more destruction, no more little groups going against each other and having wars over nothing, so that other people can make money off of it. Actually living in a world and in a society where it's true understanding. So look out for all of that, and let's go on that journey together.
I want to say thank you for coming through Politic with me again.
Thank you so much.
What was your social media and everything?
Pardon?
Your social media?
Oh, my social media is Instagram.com @Multivizion Music, MULTIVIZION Music. And the other one is personal, is Instagram.com Jahna Sebastian, Facebook Jahna Sebastian World, Twitter @Jahna Sebastian. Also follow the Alchemist TV, where I'm showcasing different artists and creatives that I'm working with. Every time it's something completely different, but that's the way that I see how reality TV should be about creatives. Although, of course, it's self-produced again for now, but at the same time, it's a growing platform, and in the future, it's hopefully going to grow into something bigger, and more international as well. And go to my website, jahnasebastian.com, for all the new music and new videos and all the updates. You can subscribe to get the emails from me, for all the exclusives. And look out for all of the new updates, on the social media. I'm always there. Connected to the world.
The PoPolitickin Show is brought to you by Audible. With over 180,000 titles to choose from, Audible is great for any continuous learner wanting to grow and expand their knowledge and insight. Go to www.audibletrial.com/POAudio and get an audiobook of your choice free with a 30-day trial. After the trial, your paid membership will begin at $14.95 per month. With your membership, you will receive 1 credit every month, good for an audiobook on Audible. Cancel before your trial ends and you will not be charged. So go to www.audibletrial.com/POAudio and download a free book by Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Napoleon Hill, Les Brown, Damon John, and more. Always remember that knowledge is power.